Hello, my name is Khin.
My name is SENG.
I am YUEN.
I'm THENG.
I'm Chen.
Today, we would like to talk about the entrepreneur that we choose. So for the introduction, how do we define an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is a person that build a new business. All of the risks they will take so as most of the returns they will enjoy. They play the key roles in the economy system. If want to be successful, we must not be afraid of failing. These are 5 must-follow rules for us to become successful in the future. First, we must work smart better than work hard. Second, hire somebody who are good to handle things that you are not really good at. Third, get more works done and spend time less. Furthermore, don't be afraid of failing because all of us will fail. Lastly, wake up with purpose daily and be ruthless. And today, we would like to have a share about the director and CEO of Huawei, Mr. Ren Zhengfei. And for the entrepreneur background, Mr. Ren is a Chinese who born on October 25 in year 1944 in Zhening, Guizhou, Republic of China. Both of his parents were school teachers at the countryside of Guizhou. He spent all of his primary and middle school years life in there. In year 1963, he started study at the Chongqing Jianzhou University and now is named as Chongqing University. Because he was not satisfied with his work, he decided to build up his own brand, Huawei, in 1987. In the next year, he became the chief executive officer of Huawei and now he was known as CEO of Huawei Technology and the founder of Huawei. With only 20 employees, a small state-owned enterprise is his first business effort. He founded Huawei quite by accident. He said, "We must not be ashamed of making money from others." I think this is one of the ways why Mr. Ren and Huawei get so successful nowadays. He has married twice and have 3 children. He got married with his first wife Meng Jun in year 1970. They have 2 children, a daughter Meng Wanzhou and a son Renping. 1988, they got divorced and Mr. Ren married Yao Ling and had another daughter named Annabelle Yao. This is the picture of Miss Meng Wanzhou and Annabelle Yao. And this is Mr. Ren and his family. So I will pass to another teammate.
Now, let's move on to the company background of Huawei. For the actual and full name for Huawei is Huawei Technologies Limited Liability Company. Huawei headquarters have located in a city of China, which was Shenzhen, Guangdong. The industry that Huawei runs is a telecommunication equipment and provides networking equipment to the customers. Next slide, I would like to talk about the types of the product that Huawei had produced to the customers. Basically, the first one is the Huawei smartphones. The second one is tablets, and for the third one is laptop. Let's move on to the target customers. Huawei have been aiming for the youngsters and teenagers that love electronic gadgets with a lot of functions and features. On the other hand, Huawei also aims for professionals or businessmen that catching up using Huawei in their working experience and in their lifestyles. Next, I would be explaining the ways of Ren Zhengfei runs the Huawei business. Mr. Ren uses a EHS management system to run Huawei. EHS, which stands for Environment, Health and Safety, to make sure that the activities carried out would not cause harm to anyone. The second ways of Mr. Ren runs the Huawei business is the roles of CSD committee. By explaining CSD committee, CSD, which stands for Commission on Sustainable Development, plays an important role on securing the performance of the Huawei employees. For the third one, Huawei have its own e-learning platform to let the employees doing their practices anytime and anywhere. Now, let's move on to the amount of the employees Huawei have. In the year of 1994, the amount of the employees was 1,000. Following by the next year, the amount of employees had increased about 200 employees and it would make a total of 1,200 employees in 1995. With the continuously increasing employee until 2019, Huawei had 194,000 of employees working under Huawei. That was the ending for company background of Huawei. Now let's move on to the next part, which was Mr. Ren before starting the venture.
Part is about the entrepreneur before starting the venture. First, let us talk about the educational background for Ren Zhengfei. His senior high school is number 1 high school of YUEN. Then in the year of 1963, he was educated at Chongqing University. At the same time, he self-studied some professional technologies such as electronic computers, digital technology, and automatic control. Besides that, he also self-studied about 3 types of foreign language. As a reminder, Chongqing University already merged with Chongqing University in the year 2000. This is the school batch of Chongqing University. Now, let us move to another part, which is previous work experience for Ren Zhengfei. After he graduated from university, he became a construction soldier. In addition, his first project is a French company project. As a construction soldier, they also need to establish a large chemical fiber factory. This project was introduced by China's central government, and the purpose is to help everyone in China to wear a new set of clothes every year. When conducting the project, Ren Zhengfei was exposed to the world's most advanced technology, but suffering from the worst graded suffering. It is because at the time China was in a challenging period, so there are not enough food to eat, and the living environment was bad. Fortunately, he know how to take this advantage of this opportunity to learn a knowledge and skills. After the project complete, he left. Then, following the national researching system, Ren Zhengfei was demobilized and transferred to Shenzhen Nanhai Petroleum Logistics Service Base, served as Deputy General Manager. In one time, he was scammed in the business deal and caused the company unable to collect more than 2 million payments. Then he was fired. After that, he was entrepreneurship. After this, let us talk about the role model for Ren Zhengfei. The role model for Ren Zhengfei is Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong was a famous politician in China and known as the founder of People's Republic of China, and also a Chinese communist revolutionary. Below was a statement who said from Ren Zhengfei. From this statement, we can note that Mao Zedong's ideology greatly influenced the Ren Zhengfei's thoughts when he set up the Huawei. Then let us move to another part, which is intention of being an entrepreneur. On September 15, 1987, Ren Zhengfei was 43 years old, and he was forced by life and found a friend to collect 21,000 RMB to register and set up one company in Shenzhen. That names are Huawei Technology Co. Ltd. Then, Huawei served as an agent of Hong Kong Kang's HAX program control switch. In the early venture, Huawei was on the first port of call by acting for Hong Kong Kang's HAX program control switches. In the process of Huawei started selling equipment, Ren Zhengfei found that China's telecom industry desire for program control switches. Then he also noticed that multinational companies dominated the entire market. Therefore, he began to develop the program control switches on the year of September 1991. Finally, Huawei became the world's second largest smartphone manufacturer after the Ren Zhengfei continuous effort. Then, the next part is about his parents' background. The photo on my left-hand side is Ren Zhengfei's father, Ren Musheng. Then the right-hand side is his mother, Cheng Yuan Zhao. The background of his father is his father had a university degree, which was graduated from Beijing Civilian University in Economics. From 1934 until 1936, he successfully taught in Zhejiang Dinghai Fisheries Vocational School and Nanjing Agriculture Vocational School. After he resigned from this job, he worked as an accountant in the accounting department of the 412 factory for as long as 11 years. Then, after the anti-Japanese wars victory, he transferred to the field of education and became a teacher in the middle school of Guizhou, Qianjiang, Zhenyuan, Guangling, and Yuzhang. After the liberation of the whole country, he devoted himself to the education of the party, was appointed as a principal, after joining National Middle School, and successively served as principal of Duyun National Normal School, Qiannan Teachers College, Qiannan Middle School Teacher Training School, Duyun No. 3 Middle School, and Duyun No. 1 Middle School. Before retiring, he was vice chairman of Duyun CPPCC. Then, his mother's background is she had high school education, and she was influenced by her husband, then become a middle school teacher through self-study. So that's all for my part. Next, we have another member to explain the other parts. Thank you.
Now, let me to introduce the entrepreneur at the time he started the venture. The part that included in this part is primary motivation to start up, setting any goals while he starts the business, resources that are available before startup, any networking, controlling at the early stage of business, serious or not, risk orientation at the early startup, business plan, and also prepare or not to start up. For the first part is primary motivation to start up. He started his venture after he retired from the army due to a large force. In 1980s century, Ren Zhengfei was dismissed from the army, and this motivated him to struggle to survive for a new normal environment, which is commercial world. For the second one is setting any goal while he starts the business. Each of the company and organization should have a clear business goal for their company. For example, Huawei's business goals are in order to ensure that able to competitive with other companies, construct the reliance between its clients, and able to survive the competition in the marketplace. For the third one, which is resources that are available before startup. Most of the resources standby is financial resources, which is finding, human resources, employees, educational resources, how industry works, physical resources, which is premise and equipment, and emotional resources is support system. The most important resources that are available for Huawei, which is Huawei policy. For the fourth, which is any networking. The business iron core of Huawei could be analyzed into three distinct groups. For the first group, which is Carrier Network Business Group, Enterprise Group, and Consumer Business Group. Carrier Network Business Group each provide various types of network including core network, fixed network, wireless network, carrier software, global service, and also network energy solutions that allocate by major communications barrier worldwide. That's all from my part.
Now I'm presenting the contouring of Mr. Ren in Huawei company at the early stage of business. Mr. Ren always encouraged his employee to work for long hours. Every employees were given a blanket and a mask, as most of them will work until late night and sleep in their office. Besides that, Mr. Ren used the employee shareholding system, as he shared the responsibility and benefit with his colleague. However, this system only for those who perform well enough qualified to participate. Furthermore, Mr. Ren were having a gradual decision making. Mr. Ren always avoiding himself to make a quick decision and take time to reflect. Gradual decision making also help maintain the decision making power under the control of company. After that, the risk orientation at the early stage of business. At first, Mr. Ren has faced finance problem at the beginning of his business. Mr. Ren has Mr. Ren has been cheated by a TV supplier, but he doesn't have enough fund to hire a lawyer to get back the money he paid to the supplier. Besides that, Mr. Ren has faced market risk during his globalization strategy. Huawei was still unfamiliar to overseas country, and employees of Huawei had no marketing experience in overseas marketing. Furthermore, there are more huge international companies such as Alcatel and Cisco in the international telecommunication market, which monopolize most of the market. And now for the business plan of Huawei. Vision of Huawei is to establish omnipresent connection for everyone. Huawei focus on innovation and plan to embed artificial intelligence in the core of the system to make the network more flexible. And the next plan is to open up international market. Huawei chose Russia, Brazil, South Africa, and other friendly countries as the first step to open up the international market. In order to enhance Huawei's recognition in this nation, sales staff had conduct tenders and sent the tenders to the customer. They're hoping that Huawei will step in customer mind by looking and reading this tender. And now move on to the preparation of Mr. Ren before startup Huawei company. Mr. Ren has studied electronics himself using textbook, published by the Worker University of Shanghai. He also attended a training course at Xin'an Jiaotong University. And he also attended a lecture given by Wu Jinkang, who a developer of computer in China. Mr. Ren has knew what computer was and how the computer used for management through the explanation given by Mr. Wu. And lastly, Mr. Ren established Huawei with a capital of renminbi 21,000 in 1987. That's all for my part. Thank you.
So in the conclusion, there are many success keys that we can learn from Mr. Ren. The success keys are customer first attitude, employee dedication, long-term thinking, and gradual decision making. First, for customer first attitude, a good and strong leader will provide their people with a sense of aim. And according to what the customer needs, Mr. Ren made Huawei become the very first company which can support all of the wireless access from large to small private networks. The second is employee dedication. The only way to get an opportunity is to hard work. Third, long-term thinking. The ownership of the staff arrangement can help Huawei fascinate and keep its servants, but also allow the develop for the plans long term. And for the gradual decision making, Mr. Ren avoided making quick decisions and forced himself to spend time reporting. The phrase power of thinking is what Huawei underlined. The power of think is the company principle that is the most valuable. This is all of. Thank you.